Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to address you on the 20th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations Global Compact. UN Global Compact was founded by my predecessor Kofi Annan with the purpose of enhancing corporate citizenship and was also put forth by my office as one of the main initiatives. I would like to applaud all members who have contributed to the mainstreaming of the 10 principles founded on the 4 areas of human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption, and have strived for the corporate sustainability by linking business activities with the SDGs. I would usually start such a video address by apologizing for not being able to join you in person. But in these extraordinary times, such a situation has become very normal. We find ourselves in uncharted territory, facing life-changing scenarios that would seem unimaginable just a month ago. Many victims have suffered, and the pandemic has strained the relationship of states, regions, and individuals. Businesses have also experienced setbacks in maintaining business consistency due to unstable supply chains and restrictions on the mobility of people and logistics. Now is the time when solidarity based on creative ideas and a mature sense of citizenship are called for more than ever to overcome the pandemic. Recently, the global media has portrayed South Korea as an exemplary case where the efforts are firmly grounded on the principles of transparency, creativity, and solidarity. As for businesses, I believe that common advocacy is required. It is a role of the UNGC members to pursue common value of our time through common advocacy. Global challenges can be resolved only through global solutions based on global solidarity. Whilst COVID-19 demands the world's attention, we must not forget that the problems faced by humanity prior to the pandemic have not gone away. Violent conflicts, nuclear proliferation, the climate crisis. These threats and injustices are still there, and in many senses further exacerbated by the pandemic. We all need to take action against another terrible pandemic, racism. Speaking as a deputy chair of the Elders, the group of independent global leaders founded by Nelson Mandela, I want to convey our abhorrence of racism in all its forms and our solidarity with all those fighting for a world free from prejudice. The barbaric killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis has shone a light on pervasive discrimination, prejudice, and impunity in the United States. The global wave of outrage sparked by his death and the violent response to overwhelmingly peaceful protests shows how racism resonates all over the world. In the words of Nelson Mandela, quote, "Racism is a stain on the human conscience," unquote. All of us need to acknowledge and confront the entrenched attitudes and behaviors that keep Black people and other minorities at a permanent disadvantage in our societies. COVID-19 has highlighted how people of color continue to bear a disproportionate socio-economic burden in health crises, which is then exacerbated by systemic oppression and violence from state authorities. I urge the international system as a whole, including the members of the Global Compact, to do much more to acknowledge the discrimination faced by minority populations around the world and advance concrete solutions to further the cause of equality and justice. The pandemic is no excuse for inaction on racism or the other existential threats facing humanity. Whilst the governments, businesses, civil society, and individuals are rightly preoccupied with the saving lives and livelihoods, it is crucial to our enduring health and sustainability that we do not neglect the long-term challenges we face. Indeed, tackling their causes and consequences as a global community is the only way we will ultimately overcome this pandemic. Arguably, this need for a joined-up approach is most crucial in relation to climate change. The climate crisis has been altering the character of our planet and threatening our existence. Those affected by extreme weather conditions continue to be so. Those suffering displacement due to droughts, losing their homes to coastal erosion, and putting their lives on the line to defend their environment, continue to face the realities of the climate emergency every day. I am very pleased to see that Brianna Freon will be speaking to you today. The elders have been working with Brianna and other young climate activists to elevate their call for continued climate action. Brianna is a witness to the climate emergency in the Pacific. As I'm sure you will hear when she speaks, her testimony gives a stark clarity to the consequences of climate change. She compels us all to ask, what can I do to help mitigate climate disaster? The business community has a huge role to play in answering this question. Businesses must recognize the growing demand of their shareholders and other stakeholders for genuine carbon neutrality strategies across their supply chains. These plans can no longer be confined to the edges of business practices. They must be at the heart of strategic planning, go beyond the bare minimum required by national legislation, and include the full and transparent disclosure of climate-related financial risk. Crucially, this action must be driven by science-based targets, as this is an essential way in which corporations can contribute to tackling the climate emergency. Many leading companies have already shown us